2000, Katie Holmes took a break from Dawson's Creek in more ways than one. In the movie The Gift, she played a very bad girl.
Well, you did one nude scene briefly in The Gift. Was that difficult to do?
I mean, that was difficult, but I thought that it was her, it was the character, it was what she would have done. And so once you get past your own inhibitions, and then it's fine. It's like, well, we got the first take over with, and let's move on.
What does your mom think about all this that's happened for you?
Oh, she's excited. I mean, I can't believe it. Nobody can believe that, you know, this has happened. And she gets a kick out of it. She enjoys it. She calls every Thursday and tells me how she liked the show. And it's fun, you know. They're all excited.
Katie always made a point of sharing her success with her family.
I was fortunate to go with her to the premiere of Go. And I will never forget when I stepped out of that car and all of the press was there. Katie, Katie. I mean, she held my hand and she's like, okay, just smile. I'm like, okay, what's going on? You know, I was so proud and it was very exciting.
But excitement is the last thing Katie wanted during visits to Toledo.
We still go to the mall and we go from store to store and we have an entourage following us. You know, by noon it gets a little crazy. So we've got to leave. She's like, okay, I've had enough. Time to go home.
Sometimes the excessive attention is more than a little disturbing.
She's had a couple stalkers that with the success, you give up the privacy. You have to be careful.
But fame has its good points for Katie, too.
She seems to appreciate the success that she's had. She said, a couple of times she's mentioned that, you know, I didn't really know what I was doing in the beginning. I was so lucky, and you know, I just went on instinct, and it's just amazing.
Are you surprised it's all happened?
Yeah, I was looking out my window last night because I'm on the 17th floor and I overlook the park. I don't know how I got that room, but I was very excited. And it was a gorgeous night, and all the buildings were lit up, and I was like, I mean, New York's always been one of my favorite cities. I was like, how did this happen? It's just one of those moments, like, I'm very lucky.
Katie's also lucky in love. In 1999, she met actor Chris Klein. Katie and Chris don't discuss their relationship, at least not seriously. Here's how Chris claims they met.
You know, it was a freak thing. It was a freak thing. My car pulled up, and her car was right behind mine, and I slipped in a puddle that was just back there, and she helped me up, and we just decided, you know, it might be fun to go through the lines. So it's, you know, and it's working out. She's really nice.
And he's really hot. He's cute.
Well, I will talk about that. Yeah, he's a sweetheart.
They're very loving, and you can tell, you can see the love between each of them. You know, they're very gushy type. It's cute to watch them together. She pushes them too, running. And, you know, he'll come back and he's like, man, I thought we were going 3 miles and she had to do 6. You know, but they still, neither one of them's going to say, are you ready to stop? No.
Katie and Chris may be competitive, but they do agree on one thing.
You really seem to try to keep your private life private. Is that tough?
I don't think it's too tough. I don't really talk about it, and neither does he, and although I'm talking about it right now. But I just think it's important. I like it better that way because it's mine, my life.
But let's get real. Fans know about Katie and Chris.
I met this little girl from Montreal, and she wrote this note, and I read it after, and she said, you know, dear Katie, you know, I was just so excited. I was hoping I could meet you. I came down to Wilmington. And she goes, and I just have one more favor. Could you ask Chris Klein if he could sign something? That doesn't get much sweeter than that.
Katie realizes that everything started with Dawson's Creek. She's both thankful and incredibly loyal to the series.
The show has been very good to all of us, and it's allowed us to do our films. And although you know, sometimes we can't do certain films because we're shooting Dawson's Creek. It's like, it's given us so many opportunities. How can you not be faithful to that?
Have you thought about maybe one day when the show ends, what it's going to be like?
It's bittersweet, you know. I mean, there's an opportunity to try other things and have the freedom to have a whole year to do whatever we want and not be tied down to 9 months of being in Wilmington. But at the same time, it's going to be extremely sad. I'll miss everyone in that experience because we've been together at such pivotal times of our lives.
Coming up.
It doesn't scare me. I'm up for the challenge.